Hello comrades, our old friends at Amnesty International are back again. They've got new photos that supposedly prove the existence of particular labor camps, forced labor camps, in the DPRK. Now this one is rather more interesting because it's photos of ones that they've already given before, just updated with the passage of time. You know, the old ones that never actually proved the initial claim that they were labor camps, but there's been changes to those areas, so those changes are somehow proof that they are labor camps when they can't prove that to begin with. So let's just skip the usual stuff and just jump right into the actual photos themselves. The first two images are what they claim to be a labor camp. Strangely, they keep using the word village as well. There is a 2011 image on the left and a 2013 image on the right for comparison to show changes being made. All these photos show is an increase in housing. The original claim of being a labor camp has not been proven, but somehow these additions are supposed to prove that it is. This increase in housing hardly indicates it's a labor camp. Besides, this is another one of those prisons that doesn't have any fence around it. It's also known as Political Camp 16 or Quan Liso. Although I don't see how they could get any indication that the place is a so-called political detention camp from a satellite photo. Next, we move on to two more pictures of the same camp from a different angular area. We see listed here on the left in June 2010 image a group of probable things. In the November 2012 image, we see the addition of a probable operational industrial area and new support buildings. Again, this provides us with nothing that shows that it's a supposed camp in any more than an industrial town. It actually makes sense that there's been expansion since 2010. After the death of Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un has led a huge drive for more industrialization in the country. This is even confirmed by outside sources. Industrial output has rapidly increased. Of course, there is more industrial structures. This image is supposed to show us a truck and a checkpoint. The CNN article specifically says that these images indicate that repression by the North Korean authorities has continued in spite of growing calls for the country to close its political prison camps. If the point of this checkpoint is to stop people from leaving, then why is the road at the top of the photo without a gate or a guard post? These three pictures, one from May 2011 and others from May 2013, are supposed to demonstrate that there has been a slight increase in the number of inmates in Camp 16. It specifically says housing in the area has been razed and reconstructed. We're left here with the tired old criticism trap. Don't improve the housing, then they're criticized for not being able to update housing. If they update housing, they're accused of increasing inmates. Then we have the obligatory Google Earth photo that doesn't show anything at all, needing drawings over it to show us. Next, we have two photos that confirm there has been logging activity in the country from March 2011 to September 2013. So, therefore, prison camps, I guess. Here we see one of the photos that shows, quote, a probable furniture factory. Well, I guess all that lumber had to go somewhere. I would think that Amnesty International would be sure about what the place was before they went around accusing the DPRK of human rights violations in its use. Finally, we have a photo taken on the 26th of March 2011 and the 22nd of February 2012 that shows some buildings being put up that are likely to be a guard station or an administrative area to support logging activities. What they're saying is that they have no idea what it is, so they're going to assume it's a human rights violation. So obviously all of this is extremely vague and doesn't actually demonstrate anything. We can't really determine anything from these photos whatsoever other than the fact that there has been economic activity. But the thing is, we already knew that there was an increase in economic activity that began when Kim Jong-un came into office. He promised a renewal of industrialization in the country, and obviously from these photos and third-party data that's come out from other organizations, well, that's absolutely true. Now, just for the fun of it, let's try this same technique on my native Canada and see how terribly evil it is. Here we see the super secret nature of Canada the authorities in the Harper regime don't want you to see. At the top right, we can see what looks like mass graves of people who've disobeyed the will of the holy Christian leader Harper. Just below that, we can see the forced abortion factory where millions upon millions of innocent fetuses have been murdered. To the upper left, we could see what is probably a brainwashing facility where Canadians are made to believe their universal healthcare system works. Finally, at the bottom, we see the infamous secret crack house where Rob Ford likes to get high. Now, all kidding aside, there's absolutely no denial that there's labor camps within the DPRK. I mean, they've never denied that. That's always been very public, because they do, after all, when they sentence someone to punishment, sentence them to hard labor in a labor camp. But they're not what the Western media, particularly imperialist groups like Amnesty International, make them out to be. It's rehabilitative labor, along the lines of what some Western European countries have. Is there a lower material level? Well, of course, it's a third world country. But it's hardly the grim death camp of invoking the images of the concentration camps of the Nazis. Although they actually do that quite a lot, like say they're the same thing. Which is really stupid, because the point of a concentration camp is to just outright kill people. The point of a labor camp in the DPRK is rehabilitative labor, so it's already a false comparison to begin with. But aside from all that, before I go, I would just like to leave you with this classic gem. North Korea can no longer deny the undeniable, said Sam Zafiri, the Asia-Pacific director of Amnesty International. For decades, the authorities have refused to admit the existence of mass political prison camps. There are places out of sight of the rest of the world. Notwithstanding North Korean claims that there are no human rights violations in the DPRK, both Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il have defended and justified the forced labor prison camp system. It would be nice if at least once in a while the imperialist puppet groups who spread propaganda could get together and get their story straight. Thank you for watching. Go ahead, rate, comment, subscribe, share on various social media, and if you want, there's some other great content here you could check out.